Listen carefully. This is not encouragement. This is not inspiration. This is command. Consistency is not a choice. It is a weapon. The weak wait for a spark of motivation, a fleeting rush of emotion, as if greatness will appear by accident. But the strong, they force themselves into consistency. They don't wait, they command themselves. And when you do this, when you march forward with relentless rhythm, the world bends. The resistance of reality breaks under your persistence. Doors that were locked begin to open. Enemies who once doubted you fall silent. Fortune tilts, not by luck, but by fear and respect of your unwavering motion. Understand something. Consistency has nothing to do with passion. Passion burns out. Passion fades. Consistency is about command. It is about ordering yourself to execute. When you are tired, when you are uninspired, when you are broken, it is about strangling your weakness before it strangles you. Every day you obey consistency, you become harder, sharper, untouchable. Your will becomes law, and law bends reality. This is why the Machiavellian mind prevails, not because it is favored, but because it forces the world into alignment through relentless repetition. Stop thinking, stop waiting, doctor, and do again, until nothing can move you, until power recognizes you as one of its own. This is the first law of becoming untouchable. If you're listening right now, comment, "I bend the world through discipline." Part 2. Pain is the price of power. Let me strip away the illusions you've been fed. Growth is not comfortable. Power is not born in pleasure. It is forged in pain, in repetition, in the quiet grind when no one is watching. The masses chase comfort, but the Machiavellian mind? He uses discomfort as a sharpening stone. He welcomes it. He forces himself into the fire because he knows the man who endures the most, commands the most. Every time you avoid pain, you sell your future for a moment's relief. That is the bargain of the weak. They chase distractions, numb themselves with indulgence, and then wonder why the world steps over them. But those who force consistency, those who bleed on their schedule, those who drag themselves into discipline no matter what, they build a foundation that cannot be moved. Understand this truth. Life does not care about your feelings. The market doesn't care. Your enemies don't care. Only results speak. And the only path to results is pain, structured, chosen, endured. When you stop running from it, when you start commanding yourself to face it, you become dangerous, cold, untouchable. Your suffering is not punishment. It is the price of entry to power. When you embrace it, you weaponize it. The same pain that destroys others becomes the very steel in your veins. That is how kings are built. If you're listening, leave a mark. Comment, "I weaponize pain into power." Part 3. Control is survival. Power belongs to the man who controls himself before he controls the world. You think influence begins with wealth, status, reputation, number. Those are consequences. The foundation is self-control. Without it, everything collapses. With it, everything bends. A man ruled by his emotions is a man on a leash. Anger, lust, envy, fear, these are chains. They make you predictable. They make you exploitable. And the world loves predictable men because they are easy to manipulate, easy to defeat. But the Machiavellian man, he cuts the leash. He becomes cold, calculating, untouchable. He studies his emotions, but he does not obey them. He bends them into tools, uses them as weapons, but never allows them to command him. Understand this: control is survival. Those who cannot control themselves lose their wealth, their power, their women, their respect. History is littered with men who conquered kingdoms yet fell to their appetites, the drink, the lust, the rage. They built empires and destroyed them with their own weakness. That is the tragedy of the undisciplined. That is not your path. You must become deliberate. You must act like the chess master, not the pawn. Every move calculated, every word sharpened, every silence intentional. You must strip away impulse until only strategy remains. When others shout, you observe. When they panic, you plan. When they beg for relief, you grind forward without hesitation. Control yourself and you control others. Command yourself and you command outcomes. Restrain your weakness and you rise above the masses who cannot. The man who governs his own nature becomes ungovernable by anyone else. That is the threshold to true power. If you're listening right now, prove it. Comment, I master myself, therefore I master the world. Part 4. Power demands isolation. Understand this clearly. Greatness requires distance. The higher you rise, the fewer you can walk with. Men chained to the crowd remain average because the crowd is built to keep you obedient, weak, and dependent. If you seek to become untouchable, you must embrace isolation, not as a curse, but as a weapon. Most men cannot stand solitude. They run from silence because it confronts them with truth. It strips away illusions. Alone, there is no applause, no validation, no excuses. Alone, you face the raw reflection of who you really are. That is why the masses cling to noise, to distractions, to constant company, because they cannot face themselves. But the Machiavellian mind thrives in that silence. He sharpens his will there. He hears his own command. Isolation gives you clarity. In solitude, you are not influenced by the weakness of others. You are not drained by their fears, their gossip, their mediocrity. You become dangerous because you begin to think for yourself. Independent thought is the rarest form of power. When others follow trends, you build strategy. When others need permission, you execute. Alone, you become forged into something unbreakable. But make no mistake, this path is cold. You will lose people. Friends will fade. Lovers will crumble. The herd will brand you arrogant, heartless, unfeeling. Let them. Power is not built on approval. Respect is not gained by comfort. It is carved by separation, by stepping away from the masses who cannot follow. The truth is this. The man who cannot endure isolation cannot endure power. Because power is lonely. Leadership is lonely. Victory is lonely. And the weak collapse under that pressure. But if you learn to thrive in the silence, if you learn to command yourself when no one is watching, then no force can touch you. Isolation is not exile, it is elevation. Use it, guard it, weaponize it. If you're listening right now, stamp your will into the comments. I rise alone, therefore I rise above. Part 5. Ruthless discipline, the law above all. If you want to understand power, strip away every illusion. Power does not come from chance. Power does not come from talent. Power does not even come from intelligence. Those are tools, but they are worthless without the one principle above all others: ruthless discipline. Discipline is the invisible hand that separates kings from beggars, predators from prey, leaders from followers. You see men every day with talent, with intelligence, with charisma, yet they live as shadows, forgotten, because they lacked discipline. They could not chain themselves to consistency. They could not command themselves when it mattered. They became slaves to comfort. A Machiavellian mind understands this. Fortune favors the disciplined because fortune fears them. Discipline is rare. It terrifies the masses because it demands sacrifice. It demands you rise when others sleep. It demands you grind when others are distracted. It demands you obey your own law even when no one is watching. But discipline is not glamorous. It is not lightning. It is slow, relentless, daily. It is bloodless war waged in silence. You will suffer in repetition. You will feel boredom. You will feel pain. And in those moments, the weak fall away. The undisciplined chase novelty, pleasure, distraction. They crumble. But the disciplined man, he endures. And in enduring, he rises above everyone who quit. Discipline kills weakness. Every time you obey structure, you strangle laziness. Every time you execute when you don't want to, you suffocate your excuses. Slowly, the man who was once fragile becomes forged, unbreakable, cold. But here is the dark truth. Discipline is not about becoming happy, it is about becoming formidable. Happiness is a side effect, respect is a side effect. The real prize is control. The disciplined man cannot be manipulated. He cannot be bribed with indulgence, lured with comfort, or broken with fear. He becomes untouchable because nothing rules him but his own will. This is why Machiavelli himself understood. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And the man of discipline will always be feared because he is consistent, unshakable, and relentless. His presence makes others uneasy. They cannot fathom how he resists temptation, how he moves forward without pause, how he never bends. They feel small in his shadow. That is the power you must embody. The law is simple. Discipline before everything. Without it, nothing lasts. With it, everything aligns. So I tell you now, force yourself into consistency and the world will kneel. Ignore this, and you will be forgotten, like the millions who had dreams but lacked discipline. If you hear me, if this speaks to your blood, prove it in the comments. I am the law of my own discipline. Part 6. The Ruthless Economy of Power. If you want to rule your world, you must learn this truth. Power is an economy. Every day you are trading. Every moment you are either gaining leverage or bleeding it out through weakness. And the weak spend their lives bankrupt because they waste their most precious currency, time, focus, and energy. Most men squander their strength. They pour it into gossip, entertainment, cheap thrills, validation. They are like kings who burn their gold to stay warm for a night. And then they wonder why they are poor, invisible, powerless. The truth is simple. They traded their empire for comfort. The Machiavellian mind does not spend like this. He invests, he calculates, he asks, will this action make me stronger? Will it increase my influence? Will it sharpen my edge? If not, he cuts it, ruthlessly, because every wasted action is a debt and every debt enslaves you. Understand? Power is never given, it is taken. But taking requires energy. It requires a reservoir of force. That reservoir is built by saying no to weakness, no to indulgence, no to distraction. Each rejection of comfort is a deposit. Each act of discipline is interest compounding. Over time, the Machiavellian man becomes wealthy in strength, wealthy in focus, wealthy in control. While the masses are broke, scattered, drained, easy to command. Here is where dark psychology enters. People will always try to steal your power, not always directly, but subtly. They will drain your time with their drama. They will siphon your focus with their chaos. They will erode your discipline with their weakness. And if you allow it, they will bankrupt you. Not financially, but mentally, spiritually, strategically. This is why isolation is a weapon. This is why boundaries are shields. You must become ruthless with your economy. Guard your time as if it were gold. Protect your focus as if it were your last breath. Spend your energy only where it multiplies. Waste nothing, and understand this brutal law. Mercy toward your weakness is cruelty toward your future. Every indulgence you allow is a debt your future self will be forced to pay with interest, and the world collects mercilessly. The undisciplined pay with regret. The distracted pay with failure, the weak pay with obscurity. But you, if you are listening to my voice, you will not pay, you will collect, you will hoard strength, you will invest pain, discipline, and sacrifice until the day comes when others look at you with envy, fear, and respect, wondering how you became untouchable while they remained slaves. This is the economy of power. The ruthless understand it, the foolish ignore it. So ask yourself right now, are you trading like a king or spending like a beggar? Are you building your empire Or are you burning it one cheap pleasure at a time? The man who treats his time and focus as gold becomes unstoppable. The man who wastes them becomes nothing. If you understand this, seal it with your words. Comment, I spend nothing on weakness. I invest everything in power. Part 7. The Predator's Mindset. To rise above the masses, you must discard the illusions of morality the herd clings to. The world is not fair. The world does not reward goodness. The world rewards leverage, cunning, and the will to dominate. If you want to be untouchable, you must think like a predator, calm, patient, ruthless. Look at nature. The predator does not apologize for hunting. The wolf does not explain himself to the sheep. The eagle does not negotiate with the rabbit. Power is taken, never requested, and men who beg for fairness die like prey. The Machiavellian mind is not blinded by sentiment. He does not confuse kindness with strength. He understands the game. People are self-serving. They move for their benefit, not yours. To survive and thrive, you must accept this brutal law. Everyone wants something from you. Your time, your energy, your focus, and if you are weak, they will strip it all away. This is why you must cultivate the predator's mindset. Cold observation, calculated patience, strategic strikes. You must see people not as they pretend to be, but as they truly are, motivated by fear, greed, vanity, and desire. When you understand this, you stop being surprised by betrayal, manipulation, or envy. Instead, you expect it. And when you expect it, you can control it. The predator mindset is not about constant aggression, it is about position. The lion is not chasing every animal in the field. He waits, he watches, he conserves energy until the strike is guaranteed. That is how you must move. Patient, selective, precise, not running after every opportunity, but waiting for the opportunity that elevates you. And here is where dark psychology enters. People are predictable. They are governed by impulses they cannot control. Offer validation, and they follow. Create fear, and they submit. Dangle reward, and they obey. Most men are nothing but animals in clothes, ruled by primitive instincts. The Machiavellian man studies this, exploits it, and bends it to his advantage. But do not misunderstand. Being a predator is not about cruelty for its own sake. It is about survival. It is about building leverage in a world designed to consume the weak. If you refuse this mindset, you remain prey, forever reacting, forever begging, forever beneath. But if you embrace it, you step into the cold elite few who are unshakable, untouchable, and feared. You will lose people on this path. The herd does not respect predators. They fear them. They will call you cold, arrogant, ruthless. Let them. They reveal their weakness when they attack your strength. Never explain yourself. Never justify. Predators do not ask sheep for approval. To command yourself, you must cut away the prey mindset. Stop seeking comfort. Stop expecting fairness. Stop craving validation. Replace it with the predator code. Observe silently. Strike strategically. Endure patiently. Win relentlessly. The man who thinks like prey is consumed. The man who thinks like predator commands the field. And here is the ultimate truth. The world will never stop hunting you. Society, competition, enemies, even friends, they will test your strength, looking for cracks. If you are weak, they will exploit it. If you are strong, they will respect it. If you are relentless, they will fear it. You must decide. Are you predator or are you prey? There is no third option. If you understand this, declare it in the comments. I am the predator. I do not ask, I take. Part 8. Breaking the chains of the masses. Look around you. The masses live in chains. They call it freedom, but it is slavery. They are bound by comfort, chained by distractions, shackled by illusions, sold to them by those who profit from their weakness. The average man is not free. He is a prisoner who loves his prison. He brags about his cage. He defends it with pride. And that is why he will never rise. If you want to become untouchable, you must break those chains, ruthlessly, violently, without hesitation. You cannot rise while still addicted to the poison that keeps others weak. You cannot ascend while still moving with the herd. The herd exists for one reason: to be led, to be used, to be consumed. And if you do not break away, you are not a leader, you are prey. The chains are everywhere: comfort, entertainment, validation. They feed on your instincts. They tell you, relax, you deserve it. They whisper, just one more, no harm done. They trap you with pleasure while they steal your strength. Do you think kings are built on comfort? Do you think conquerors rose by indulging every appetite? Number. They cut away their chains. They forced themselves into pain, into discipline, into solitude, while the masses begged for bread and circuses. The Machiavellian man sees through the illusion. He does not waste his life chasing pleasures designed to pacify him. He knows entertainment is a leash. He knows comfort is a drug. He knows validation is a trap. And he refuses to wear the chains. He strips them away, one by one, until nothing remains but his own command. This is where cold psychology separates the predator from the herd. The masses believe in fairness, justice, equality. They believe the world should reward them simply for existing. But reality is brutal. The world rewards strength, calculation, and persistence. If you want more, you take more. If you want respect, you enforce it. If you want freedom, you bleed for it. Do not pity the masses. They do not want freedom. They want safety. They want entertainment. They want someone else to lead them. That is why they will always be ruled. That is why they will always be forgotten. The Machiavellian man does not waste his time trying to awaken the herd. He uses them, he studies them, he understands their chains, and then he exploits them. You must learn to do the same. Look at how society controls the masses. By fear, by desire, by distraction, by indulgence. Now look at yourself. Where do these chains still grip you? Where do you still obey your weakness? Where do you still act like prey? That is where you must strike first. When you break your chains, you become dangerous, you become rare, you become the one man in the room who cannot be manipulated, who cannot be baited, who cannot be ruled. And that terrifies people. They will attack you, they will resent you, they will label you cold, ruthless, arrogant. Let them. Their words are proof you are no longer one of them. Breaking chains is not glamorous, it is brutal. It is the quiet work done in the dark when no one is watching. It is the refusal to indulge when temptation claws at you. It is the decision to suffer through discipline while others waste their lives. But that suffering is freedom. That pain is strength. That sacrifice is leverage. The masses will never understand this. They will mock what they fear. But one day, when they look at you, unmoved, unbroken, untouchable, they will recognize what you are, something above them, something they could never become. You are not here to fit in. You are not here to obey. You are here to break your chains, rise above the herd, and command the field as a predator among prey. So I ask you, are you still chained, or have you already begun to cut yourself free? If you have, declare it. Comment, I break my chains, I bend the world. Part 9. Building the Fortress Mind. Every empire begins in the mind. Every kingdom rises first as an idea, forged in silence, built in discipline, and protected by will. Before you can rule anything outside of you, you must conquer the battlefield within. And that battlefield is brutal because the enemy is not outside, it is inside. Weakness, impulse, doubt. These are assassins hiding in your own blood. They whisper, they seduce, they betray you when you are tired, when you are distracted, when you are vulnerable. And if you cannot crush them, they will destroy you before any external enemy ever has the chance. This is why you must build what I call the fortress mind, a citadel of cold willpower, a structure of discipline so unshakable that nothing, no insult, no temptation, no setback can breach it. The fortress mind is not built overnight. It is carved daily, through repetition, through sacrifice, through forcing yourself into consistency until it becomes your nature. The walls of this fortress are built with habits. Every time you rise early, you lay a brick. Every time you execute when you don't want to, another brick. Every time you resist temptation, another brick. Slowly, brick by brick, you construct something impenetrable. But here is the truth: most men never build it. They leave themselves exposed. They walk through life unguarded, open to every attack. A single insult ruins their day. A single failure breaks their spirit. A single rejection shatters their confidence. They are glass, fragile, waiting to be broken. That is why they remain powerless. The fortress mind is the opposite. It is stone. It is steel. It is built so that when storms come, and they will, you do not break. You do not even bend. You endure. And in enduring, you gain something no one can buy, the reputation of being unshakable. Understand this: in the world of power, reputation is currency. Once people know you cannot be rattled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be broken, they stop testing you. They begin respecting you. Fear enters their hearts, not because you threaten them with words, but because they see your fortress and realize they cannot breach it. This is how Machiavellian psychology works. You make yourself immune, while others live in constant reaction, reacting to words, to moods, to circumstances. You remain silent, calculated, unmoved. That silence terrifies people. That stillness becomes dominance. But a fortress is not just walls. It is also weapons. Inside your mind, you must stockpile weapons of strategy, patience, and cold logic. Strategy to outthink your enemies, patience to outlast them, logic to strip away emotion and see reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. When you act from this fortress, you no longer chase approval, you no longer fear loss, you no longer beg for validation. You move with a different energy, calm, deliberate, ruthless. That energy alone commands respect. People feel it, they sense it, and they submit to it. The masses are ruled by impulse. They cannot control themselves. They gossip, they panic, they crave constant stimulation. And when you refuse to join them, when you stand cold, still, and controlled, you rise above them instantly. They may outnumber you, but you outweigh them, because the fortress inside you makes you untouchable. Here is the darker truth. The world will always test your walls. Life will send betrayals, failures, humiliations. Enemies will try to break you with words, with lies, with attacks. And if you are weak, they will succeed. But if you have built your fortress brick by brick, nothing touches you. Attacks bounce off. Failures become lessons. Losses become fuel. The world hurls fire, and you stand in the flames, silent, unmoved, unburned. That is untouchable. But the fortress requires maintenance. If you grow complacent, if you stop laying bricks, cracks will form, weakness will return, and the wolves of the world will sense it instantly. You cannot relax. You cannot coast. You must reinforce your walls daily. Discipline is not a season. It is forever. This is why you must force yourself into consistency. Every act of discipline is not just progress. It is protection. Every rep, every grind, every sacrifice is another layer of armor. And soon, you are no longer a man in the crowd. You are a fortress among ruins. Understand the power of this image. A fortress does not chase. It does not beg. It does not move. It simply stands, indestructible. The enemy comes, attacks, exhausts itself, and eventually kneels before the fortress. That is how you must be. Let the world exhaust itself against you while you remain standing. This is not arrogance. This is survival. The weak crumble because they have no walls. The strong endure because they live in fortresses of their own making. Which will you be? Ask yourself, are you glass or are you stone? Are you prey or are you predator? Are you exposed or have you built the fortress mind? If you understand this, leave your mark below. Comment, I am the fortress. I cannot be broken. Part 10. The untouchable state. This is the endgame, the state of being untouchable. The condition few will ever achieve because it demands everything the weak are unwilling to give. It demands sacrifice, silence, pain, isolation, and ruthless discipline. But if you have followed every law I have laid before you, forcing consistency, weaponizing pain, mastering control, embracing isolation, ruling your economy of power, moving as predator, breaking chains, and building the fortress mind, then you are ready for the final transformation. Listen closely. To be untouchable is not about never being attacked. The world will always test you. People will always envy you. Life will always try to break you. Untouchable means this: no matter what comes, you remain unbroken, unbent, and unshaken. You may bleed, but you do not fall. You may lose, but you do not quit. You may be hated, envied, slandered, betrayed, but none of it pierces you, because your will is iron, your discipline absolute, and your focus unshakable. The untouchable man does not live for approval. He does not live for applause. He lives for power. He lives for mastery. He lives for legacy. Understand this: most men are erased when they die, forgotten within a generation. Their names vanish, their actions dissolve. But the untouchable man carves himself into stone. His presence lingers, his shadow remains. His will echoes in the minds of those who witnessed his discipline. That is immortality, the only kind that matters. But immortality demands a price. And that price is everything soft within you. Every indulgence, every excuse, every weakness. If you cling to them, you will remain ordinary. If you sacrifice them, you will become something rare, something feared, something respected, something eternal. Now, let's tie every law together. Consistency bends the world. Pain becomes fuel. Control makes you sovereign. Isolation gives clarity. Discipline builds law. Economy protects your energy. The predator mindset makes you dangerous. Breaking chains sets you free. The fortress mind makes you unshakable. Together, they form the untouchable state. This is not philosophy. This is war. A war you fight daily, against yourself, against the herd, against the world. And if you fight long enough, consistently enough, ruthlessly enough, you win. The untouchable state is not loud. It is silent. It is not desperate. It is calm. It is not chaotic. It is calculated. People feel it when you enter a room. They sense the weight of your presence, the discipline in your posture, the calm in your eyes. They do not see arrogance. They see inevitability. And inevitability is the purest form of power. When you reach this state, you do not chase women, wealth, or status. They chase you, because power attracts, because strength pulls, because the untouchable man is magnetic, not by charm, but by the rare energy of someone who cannot be broken. And here is the final truth. The untouchable state is not an end. It is a way of life. The moment you believe you are finished, you begin to decay. The moment you think you are complete, weakness seeps in. That is why the untouchable state is both the destination and the path. It is eternal vigilance, eternal discipline, eternal war against weakness. But you will not complain, because you were not built for comfort. You were built for command. You were built for legacy. You were built for power. And now I command you, commit. Commit fully. Cut away what is holding you back. Kill the excuses. Break the chains. Build your fortress. Enter the predator's mindset. Force yourself into consistency until it is no longer effort, but identity. Make discipline your law. Control your nature and let isolation refine you. Do this, and nothing, not betrayal, not envy, not chaos, not loss, will ever touch you again. You will become untouchable. If you've heard my voice and it cuts into you like steel, then prove it. Declare it. Comment, "I am untouchable. Nothing breaks me." Say it and let it burn into your blood. And if you're ready for more truths like this, if you're ready to sharpen your mind into a weapon of cold power, then do not walk away. Hit like right now. Subscribe to Mental Fort and turn on notifications so you never miss the next command. This is not just content, this is war for your mind, and I will not let you lose. Rise, command, endure, and remember, the untouchable man bends the world.